Welcome back to another Johnny Torch Live broadcast. This is broadcast number 247, and we are presenting to you Torch News Roundup 285. How are you? It's been quite a while, a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, because again, as has seemed to be my custom lately, I've been felled by the common cold. I think it's still going around a lot for a lot of people, so it's not something unique to me, but I've gotten back to back to back colds, I think, since the end of October, or certainly since the beginning of November. And again, apologies in advance. I feel like I say this every broadcast, but if my voice sounds off, a little stuffy still, I think I'm at the level where I can at least do a show without having a complete coughing spasm. I've got a lozenge in my mouth in case you can tell. Just full disclosure right off the bat. So this is going to be a brief one because, again, I don't want to risk getting into a coughing spasm and having to completely shut the show down midstream. But we've got a couple of topics we're going to touch on here. And, of course, you're not going to miss anything with the pregame show with the Super Bowl. I mean, honestly, you're going to have more fun here talking to me or listening to me if you're listening to this on a rebroadcast. We've got some interesting subjects. Of course, the Super Bowl, one of them, I always do, and I did this on Twitter again earlier today, my prediction. And of course, the Super Bowl is Super Bowl 58, Chiefs versus the 49ers. I think everybody knows the Chiefs are going to win this one. I mean, I like the 49ers to win it. I'm kind of pulling for them to win it, but when money's at stake, I got to put my money on the Chiefs. They're going to pull it out at some point. Hopefully the officials won't get involved as they did the last two Super Bowls. I feel like there's a lot of chicanery going on there with officiating in the NFL, but what else is new? I mean, we can't even have a legitimate election. What do you think is going on with the NFL, right? But yeah, I'm going with a score: Chiefs 42, 49ers 38. I think it'll be close. I think whoever has the ball last is probably going to win, and I bet it's going to be the Chiefs because, it's just, ball control. You know what I mean? If they have the ball last, they're going to make sure that they can get that first down and end it. And if they need, like, a final score, I feel more confident that the Chiefs are going to be able to do that. So that's where I stand on that one. Before we get into the topics at hand, let me admonish you once again. And I'm a very gentle admonisher, but let me admonish you once again to check out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. Now, this is a series near and dear to my heart because I have created it, I have written it, I have drawn it, I have inked and lettered it, I have colored it. And unfortunately, up until just last week, I was continuing to work on issue 12, which would be the final issue in this story arc, Nursery Crimes, as you see right here before you. And unfortunately, I'm having some very difficult problems. I can't save my work. And I've been reaching out to a couple of people online to see if they can help me with this. Now, it's a Sunday, so I'm not going to try to work on this tonight, but I'm going to get back to work on it tomorrow, see if I can get the problem resolved, because I can't seem to save my work anymore. I'm in the middle of coloring it, pretty much all done with the inking, and I got a little more lettering to do. But trying to save the work, I can color it, and then it just won't save. And this is a nightmare for me because I'm only halfway through as it is, and this is yet another slowdown in my work process. So I'll keep you all abreast of that. And if you check the link in the description below, you can find me on Twitter, where I'm sure I will be covering this unfortunate event. And hopefully I'll be able to get it resolved somewhat quickly. I've got a few messages I got recently that are trying to help me out with the situation. It seems like, I've tried all the usual workarounds. I've tried to rename files. I've tried to move them to different folders. Nothing really seems to work, but I'm sure there is a way around it. I got to be diligent until I find it. But check the link in the description below. You can find all the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye in our website. If you check the link in the description below, you'll find our website where you can either find us on Indie Planet, where you can get the paper copies, the hard copies, which I would prefer everybody get, because that's kind of what you want to do, is you want to sell comic books, not the digital stuff. But if you are at all interested in the digital stuff, we are running a sale on Global Comics right now, where you can get the digital downloads for half price in honor of my birthday month. February, of course, is my birthday, culminating at the end of the month with my birthday. And you can get all the issues right now at half price, which is a 1995 deal. I say, are we in 1995 still? Because you can get the regular issues for literally $2, and you can't find that kind of price anywhere these days. Some of the older trades we have, the first three, the first issue alone is only $2.50. It wouldn't cost much more than a regular issue. And I think the most expensive thing we have there is our third issue, the trade for our third story arc, which is about $4. So if you want to get caught up on all the Bullets Bourbon goodness gracious me, get on over to my website, get on over to Global Comics, and seek out Johnny Torch and the Bullets Bourbon saga. It is all there for you to peruse and delight yourself with. All right, let's get into the topics at hand here. Now, this story is a little old now, a couple weeks old, but we have our new Supergirl actress taking over for Melissa Benoist, who unfortunately does not have a show anymore. I would have preferred that she was our Supergirl, but the show itself kind of forced the issue that we couldn't use her in this. It's the same thing with Grant Gustin. As much as he's beloved for The Flash, there's too much baggage from that show to just bring it over into the new DCU. So I can kind of understand this. Now, I was pushing for Meg Donnelly. She was the other one that was up for it. And this is the first time where actually I've disagreed with the casting choice, but Miley Alcock has gotten the role of Kara Zor-El in the new Gunn DCU. And I can't really complain because she does look the part, but I get the feeling that, and again, we'll read the copy in just a moment and you're going to really find out, but I get the feeling this is not going to be your dad's Supergirl. You know, the Supergirl that I grew up with was perfectly represented by Melissa Benoist and even by Helen Slater before her. I know I'm forgetting the actress's name right now who played her on Smallville. I wasn't too crazy about her portrayal, and I think this is the reason why. I think Millie Alcock's going to be playing Supergirl in that manner. They're going to have her as the Supergirl with a chip on her shoulder, constantly being sort of, just sort of argumentative, kind of cranky, for lack of a better term. I don't really know what term I'm trying to find for this, but you know what I mean. She's got a chip on her shoulder. She kind of wants to do things her own way. She doesn't really see eye to eye with Kal-El on things. And I prefer my Supergirl, again, Melissa Benoist, which is basically the kid's sister. That's what Supergirl is. Superman is sort of the dad of superheroes, and Supergirl is sort of the kid's sister. She's supposed to be sort of young and spunky and altruistic and kind of is anxious to do the right thing and wants to help out and wants to help Superman. I don't think that's what we're going to get with this Supergirl, and I think that's why this actress was chosen. She doesn't really have a demeanor like Meg Donnelly did, which is sort of the class cheerleader. She seems more like she has some issues to deal with. And, well, let's look at the copy here. James Gunn has said, in our series, we see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, who was raised on a rock, a chip off Krypton, and watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life. And then came to Earth when she was a young girl. She's much more hardcore. She's not exactly the Supergirl we're used to seeing. And this is kind of what, I don't really want to see Supergirl become Nebula. You know what I mean? I get the feeling that's kind of what he's going to do with her, James Gunn. I don't want her to be sort of hard-edged and kind of, it took like 3 movies, and Nebula kind of, you could see she was soft underneath a little bit. I don't think we need that approach with Supergirl, but again, they're adapting Woman of Tomorrow, which is a Tom King story. I have never read it. I haven't heard a lot of good things about Tom King's writing, to be totally honest with you, so I didn't really want to seek it out. But again, I can't speak to her acting abilities or the subject matter that she's going to be portraying. Variety mentions that this story will follow Kara as she travels across the galaxy to celebrate her 21st birthday with Crypto, the super dog. Well, it's nice that they bring in Crypto, and I like to see Crypto in live action. I think probably not the first time, but honestly, what is it, only the second time we've seen Crypto in live action? Along the way, she meets a young woman named Ruthie and winds up on a murderous quest for revenge. Yeah, that doesn't sound to me like Supergirl. I don't really think of Supergirl and murderous quests for revenge. I'm thinking this is sort of something they tried to adapt in the last season of Supergirl, the CW show. Was it like she was a witch or something, and she was kind of wanted revenge or something on someone, and Supergirl kind of gets caught up in it? I don't really remember too much about it, but I don't know. Superman Legacy is set to commence production in March, and it is highly suggested that Supergirl will be given her introduction in that film. So, yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think about Miley Alcock? And I'm imagining I'm pronouncing that correct. About Miley Alcock as Kara Zor-El Supergirl. Again, Gunn seems to be doing everything right in his casting. I don't want to jump the gun, so to speak. I don't want to jump the gun and start raving about, oh, this is going to ruin Supergirl. Maybe not. I like to give him the benefit of the doubt. This kind of raises a red flag in my mind, though, that I'm not going to be too thrilled with this Supergirl. But we'll wait and see. Let's see what happens. And again, I don't really know this actress. I don't really think, if I'm being frank, I think she seems to me sort of like a Sydney Sweeney, where she always has like this one expression, and she doesn't seem like a very expressive actress. She kind of always has this expression that you see right here, and that's kind of why I didn't think she was a good choice. But I mean, she's got the look, she's blonde, she's got blue eyes. Heaven knows, you can't even take for granted they're going to choose someone white because the character is white in this day and age. So, I mean, they look like they've made some effort, as they did in Superman Legacy, to choose an actress who actually looks like the source material. So I will give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Hopefully, that faith shown will be justified. All right. Let's talk next about, there's some images of Daredevil Born Again that's going around that's gotten me kind of excited. I mean, again, I don't really know to what extent I should be looking forward to this, because it looks like, thankfully, they've learned the error of their ways. They had, I think, 4 episodes in the can of Daredevil Born Again. The Disney Channel did, the Disney Plus or whatever. And they scrapped it simply because it just wasn't working. Now, for them to realize something wasn't working on Disney Plus, that speaks multitudes. You know what I mean? I think that's a good sign that they scrapped what they did. And apparently, again, I don't know how much of this is official and how much is just the scuttlebutt behind the scenes, but apparently Daredevil wasn't going to show up until the 4th episode. And Foggy and Karen were going to have been killed, I think, during the blip. I'm not sure. And it was going to be about Matt sort of trying to pick up the pieces or whatever, and so on and so forth. Thankfully, that has been scrapped, and we do have Deborah Ann Wall and what's his name, Drew Henson. I didn't have the copy in front of me, but Karen and Foggy are back, And the images I've seen look very exciting about this. We have Josie's bar is back. I guess this is still, yeah, still a bar, right? Josie's is back. We've got the three, the trio of heroes back together again here, and it's really exciting. Now, my only fear is they're gonna kill off Karen or something like that. I really don't want them to do that. I don't think they will really. If I was a betting man, I would say they're not gonna kill Karen or Foggy because I think they know what their bread and butter is. I think the three of these actors, this cast, works together so well. I don't really see why you would kill them off and then just, you know, try to bring someone else in. But, Disney is not that bright when it comes to things like this. So that's why you can't trust them to not screw this up. But let's see. Again, I guess this is considered spoilers. I put that in the title as well. So if you don't want to see any of these images, I guess tune out now. But again, apparently we see Karen in some action scene here, blood splattered. She looks like she's pointing a gun at someone who's possibly already dead. At least there's a blanket over whatever it is that she's pointing the gun to. I don't know. This is probably speculation because I think those tarps are there sort of just, between scenes to sort of keep things from getting mussed up and stuff. So this might have been just her on set rehearsing. But again, one of the things I was not too crazy about in the original Daredevil show and the Netflix show, I wasn't too crazy about this idea of Karen like killing. And I mean, I read the comics through like the 80s and early 90s. Now, I know a lot of bad stuff happened to her later on. I prefer not to think about that. I know that's kind of, I don't know if that's exactly what a purist would do, but I didn't like all that stuff going on with her where she's got AIDS and she's getting killed by Bullseye. And I just would like to like end Karen's story like at 1986 or something like that. Whenever the really crazy stuff kicked off with her, that's kind of where I'd like to stop. So in this one, they didn't go into she's like a streetwalker or anything, but they still got this thing like where she killed and she killed Wesley, I think, in the first season. And, it's like, I don't really feel like she's the same character as the comics, really. And I don't know, that kind of is a stumbling block for me. I mean, I love Deborah Ann Wall. I think she's great as this character. It's not that. I just kind of feel like I don't know how far they're going to spin her out in this direction. Like the Punisher, she was in that show, and it was like uncomfortable that she was really so easily placed with a Punisher to the point where a lot of people like want her to be his love interest. I'm like, I don't know, really. I don't know about that. I would prefer that she be Daredevil's love interest because I honestly always shipped her more with Matt than Elektra. I know there are a lot of Elektra fans and a lot of people see them as the ultimate couple. I never really did. They seem to me to be too opposite. I mean, it's one of those things like, oh, I don't know. I can't really compare it. I think I compare it best to Batman and the Phantasm. Like Andrea sort of crosses a line that Bruce won't cross. And I think that's kind of what Elektra represents. She'll cross a line that Matt won't cross. And it's different between Batman and Catwoman. That's why I've always said Batman and Catwoman belong together, because typically Catwoman was never portrayed as a murderess. She always kind of respected life. I mean, she was a lot more brutal than maybe Batman would be, which I guess is saying a lot because Batman is pretty brutal. But I mean, I don't ever see her going beyond a certain point and killing someone, which is why those depictions of her killing people I don't really like. But anyway, this is some interesting stuff. This is something I think a lot of people were commenting on, which is, of course, Bullseye is back, and he has this god-awful costume, which quite frankly, I think I'm not the first person to say it, it looks like some kind of Cobra jumpsuit from G.I. Joe. Cobra! And it looks pretty ridiculous. I don't know why it would be so difficult. And I've been waiting since the first Daredevil movie. I mean, I loved that movie, the Ben Affleck one. I love that film, but I really, really wish he would have had a costume in that film. They made do with what they had, but quite frankly, Bullseye needs to have that bullseye on his head. He needs to have the costume. I don't understand why it's so difficult to get that. And here he's wearing like a blue unitard with sort of, I don't know, gray cargo pants. And he's decked out with all kinds of knives and blunt instruments and whatever. I don't know. Apparently, there's a lot of clips on Twitter, too. So if you haven't already, you can search those out, where it looks like Daredevil is fighting him in front of Josie's bar, inside of Josie's bar. Basically, it looks like there's going to be some great action set pieces in this. And another one of my big complaints about the Daredevil Netflix show was I've never really felt like they were showcasing Daredevil at his best. Daredevil is a Daredevil. He's supposed to be jumping. He's supposed to be leaping. He's supposed to be swinging. We didn't get any of that. They just try to make him a brawler, which he can be when he's, in the confines of a fist fight. Yeah, all right. But he should be swinging. He should be jumping. He should be leaping off of buildings. He's a man of action. He's a daredevil. What does that mean? That means he's willing to throw himself off a roof. He's got the sonar capabilities of knowing where he'll land, of knowing where the flagpole is so that he can use the billy club. This is something that was sorely missing from the Netflix show. As much as everybody loved the Netflix show, I was bored out of my mind because I knew what Daredevil was capable of. And now, thankfully, Disney Plus is going to be able to show Daredevil at his best, doing everything that he's supposed to be able to do. All the stunts, all the action that we should expect of him, we're going to finally see. One problem that more than one viewer has pointed out is they still don't have the double D's on his chest. I don't know why. What is so hard about putting the double D's on his chest? Now, maybe he'll get this at the end of the show. Maybe Bullseye will get an actual Bullseye costume by the end of the show. It's quite possible. Maybe they're saving it for the next season. I don't know. But the costume is much improved as well. It's cherry red now, like the, comics version is supposed to look, unlike the burgundy wine version that Netflix had. And don't get me wrong, I didn't mind the Netflix Daredevil costume because they had him in the black sweats for like 2 seasons out of the 3. Oh, well, 3 seasons if you want to count the Defenders. He only was in the 2nd season, was he in the suit for any length of time. But the suit looks better than it has. It's more colorful. It's, the right shade of red. We just need the double D's on the chest. I kind of feel like, where would they put the D since they have the chest looking so pronounced, like it's armor? I mean, I think the Ben Affleck one, they had it on the side of his chest because it was like a zipper up leather suit. So I guess they could go that way too if they want to just put it on one side. I don't know. But the superhero emblem to me is something that is sacred, and you don't want to lose that, and it's missing here. So again, I am very excited about, Daredevil Born Again. I mean, I imagine they can still mess it up. I don't want to put, too much confidence in Disney. I really didn't hate Echo. I think they're in their groove now where they can feel how long a show should be. And they're not going to overly pad it, which is something I think was a problem with the Netflix Daredevil. Disney isn't going to do that. They're not going to pad this. If it was supposed to be 18 episodes and it doesn't need 18 episodes, I don't think they're going to do it this time. I think we're looking at 6 to 8 episodes, and that's probably the right length. I mean, I want as much Daredevil as I can get. I love this cast. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, I guess, is probably because it's been set up in Echo. Spoilers there, but he's going to be running for mayor. And of course, Charlie Cox, Deborah Ann Wall. They're just great. And the rumor also has it, I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, but I think John Barenthal's Punisher might make an appearance. I think Echo is going to make an appearance. So, it looks to me like it's shaping up to be something pretty good. I think it's exciting to see. And hopefully we'll get several seasons of Daredevil and not just Daredevil Born Again. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. I will let you guys go now and hopefully have another video up pretty soon. Possibly a review. I think I'm probably going to be seeing Madam Web. I think it just looks like a fun time at the movies. I'm not expecting much of it. And it might be terrible, and I'll tell you if it's terrible. But I think you can expect a review for that coming up pretty soon. I believe The Marvels is finally on Disney+, which I still haven't checked out that movie yet. And again, I intend to give it a completely fair and unbiased review. I know everybody has hit the roof with trying to find expletives to throw down that film. It may be good. I don't know. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I think, and again, it wasn't unwatchable, but you could tell it was written by committee. It was like, oh, Jude Law's character was totally wasted. And there was so many, changes to the lore, Captain Marvel, and all that. It didn't really do justice to its source material, which is what I didn't like about it. Was it unwatchable? No. Was Brie Larson horrible? No. But it wasn't a great movie. And I kind of think this will be a better movie, movie-wise, story-wise. I haven't seen Ms. Marvel, the TV show. I just know the actress is she's an MCU or a Marvel in general fangirl, so she's kind of cool. And the actress that plays Monica Rambeau, we've seen her in WandaVision. She's capable. She's a good actress. So I don't see why this should be so terrible, but we'll find out, I guess, pretty soon, because I'll probably be checking that out in the near future. So those are a few things to look forward to. And of course, if any other news of consequence breaks, another casting or maybe some more photos. I know there's a lot of talk about Captain America, what is it, New World Order? Maybe we can dig into that and see what's going on there. I think they're reshooting a good portion of the movie. And some people have been saying they might have cut out Seth Rollins, who was playing the Cobra or something. I don't know how true that is. Maybe I'll look into that as well. All right, so until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.